It's the ultimate travel guide from the people who know it best. Weekends with Yankee. Heading south, Richard will take us on a tour of the famous seaport in Mystic, Connecticut. In the past, Connecticut's waters supported Native Americans and early settlers and grew into a serious commercial enterprise, along with whaling and shipbuilding. Now, 250 years later, only the fishing industry remains. Richard's meeting up with Captain Jay Salvatore aboard the Osprey for a little morning fishing. It's an opportunity to learn what it means to be a modern-day fisherman, hauling in blackfish known as tautog, and getting a lesson on filleting a fish.
Jay, Captain Jay.
How are you?
Good. It's a little cold out here this morning.
That's all right. The fish don't care about the temperature.
All right,
Just the wind. Let's go.
I don't care either. Let's go.
Let's go.
Where are we heading out to?
I really don't know yet until I see what the wind's doing. That's gonna make my mind up. But we're gonna head outside in the sound here. Just want to see if we can go be comfortable and catch some fish.
So what kind of habitat do blackfish like?
They want a rugged, rocky bottom. A wreck's good. Any rough bottom, they like it. Somewhere where there's caverns, they can hide.
What are we fishing with?
Just gonna fish with a piece of crab and a sinker. Pretty simple rig we're gonna use. Just hook a crab on.
For people who fish, 8 ounces may sound like a lot, but you know, we're out here with wind and tides and you need that pretty much to hold the bottom. So here we go. We're in about 25 feet of water. No.
Even a blind pig gets an ear of corn. Attaboy, Justin. Tautog.
Nice little blackfish.
Yeah, I think I have something.
Right kind, wrong size.
That was the right kind, wrong size.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Gotta get them started.
This is a tricky kind of fishing because as soon as they hit, if you don't set the hook, they're gone. I think I got it. Let's see. There we go. There we go. There we go.
Nice one, yeah.
Nice one.
Got it?
Yep, I got it.
Step back. Yeah, there you go.
This is a good one.
Beauty. There you go.
All right. Success!
Nice fish.
What do you personally like about this profession?
Well, we make memories every day.
Memories.
Yep, we're making memories every day.
And this is your office.
That's it. This is where we come to work.
Oh, I think I got another one there. You are making
Good.
memories.
See?
Wow, that's a nice one. So I used to fillet fish.
Yep.
When you fillet a fish, how does it go? You start with a sharp knife, I
Yeah,
noticed.
yeah. Biggest thing is sharp knife. Every time before I fillet any fish, I take a couple minutes to sharpen all my knives, make sure they're good to go. Knife on like a 45, come in, right up to the corner of the head, turn your knife on another 45, come down right down the back fin here. See how it curls up a little bit? So you kind of just work your knife with the fish as he curves, he'll straighten out as you come down.
You know, I noticed you were doing this when the seas were going up and down.
Lot of practice, a lot of time behind a knife. So if you're gonna start out practicing at the dock, practicing at your house, wherever it's calm and easy for you to stand.
And I noticed you always gain a bunch of friends above you when you're filleting a fish.
Yeah, my buddy Tony, he's flying around here somewhere.
Tony the seagull.
Yeah, he's somewhere around here today.
Hey Jay, I'd like to thank you for a really great day out fishing. I'm honestly pleasantly surprised. The weather was cold, it was a little rough out there, but we were catching one fish after another.
That's what we're supposed to do.
Traveling back in time, Richard's also curious about the fishing traditions of the past, and there's no better place to learn about it than the Mystic Seaport Museum. Richard's rowing out on an old Grand Banks dory.
This boat is a dory. It would have been used on the Grand Banks on fishing schooners like the LA Dutton. That's a ship that we have here at the museum. Now, schooners were designed not necessarily to be the fishing platform, but to be the processing platform. So one of their advantages was that they could carry a lot of fish and get it back to market as quickly as possible, essentially. That's one of the advantages of having fore to aft sails like a schooner has, is that you can sail quite close to the wind and sail pretty fast.
And so,
Yeah.
you know, this kind of dory, would it be out in big seas?
It would. They would lay a trawl line using a buoy like this and a trawl line like this one and go fishing for cod, essentially. So part of the advantage of a dory is that it tips pretty well. So the rail here can go pretty much all the way down to the water, which is great if you're trying to haul on ton of extremely large fish. I mean, cod in those days could, be extremely heavy, about the weight of a 5-year-old. So trying to get that over with 2 people in a boat and the sea sort of rocking around you was definitely a challenge.
I got to imagine that it's a foggy day. It's the 19th century. Maybe the seas were starting to pick up a bit. And now you're sort of wondering, where is the schooner I came from? And being out hundreds of miles from shore, that could be a frightening prospect.
You're in a small boat like this out in the middle of the open ocean, especially out in the North Atlantic. They would stay out as late as November or even later into the winter. So it could be quite cold, it could be quite stormy, and they would really go out in any weather. Statistically speaking, dory fishing that went on during the Civil War, for instance, it was more likely that you came home from the Civil War than you came home from the Grand Banks.
Wow.
You gotta imagine the kind of grit that you have to have.
It took a special person to do this.
It really did.
Next, we head to the Seaport Museum's Henry B. DuPont Preservation Shipyard, where Richard boards the SS Roann. It's one of the last surviving examples of a wooden-rigged fishing vessel called an Eastern rig dragger.
Most of the cod, haddock, and flounder that was eaten in New England caught by these vessels from 1920 until about 1960.
So, this isn't that long ago. I have relatives who would have been alive during this period, but somehow it seems the way people were out at sea, they didn't have the same kind of electronics or navigation.
Right. There was a real high level of traditional seamanship involved in running these vessels. They had to be riggers, they had to be mechanics. In the early years, the navigation was all done by compass and sounding lead. Which
a compass? What's a compass?
Actually, a lead weight that you would lower to the bottom of the ocean floor to determine the depth of the water.
They would have been out on George's Banks, which is hundreds of miles off the coast.
Week-long trip, yes.
And,
yes.
The weather, probably was, a little rough.
Had one of the crew would be the cook, and they good cooks.
Did they eat
They
fish?
had to have a lot of food. No, I don't think so. Fishermen kind of steer clear of eating fish.
Foodie at heart, Richard wants to cap off his trip to Mystic by cooking up a fish stew over an open hearth at Buckingham Hall. Keeping with the times, he's using a recipe from the Frugal Housewife Cookbook, published in 1829.
Hi, Aiden.
Hey. Hi. What have you got?
I've got blackfish. I know you were asking for codfish, but we went fishing today, so these are fresh from the sea, just within almost sight of where we are right now.
Okay, great. This is a recipe for cod chowder, which is a little different from the kind of chowders that we're used to eating today. It doesn't have cream in it. It's thickened by crackers.
And it looks like the ingredients are pretty simple, which means I could probably make it at home in some fashion.
Yes, you could. So I have this crane here, and I'm gonna put my kettle right on top of that. And that is actually just going to go right over the fire. This is a nice, well set up kitchen for the 1830s. I have the crane, and I also have this thing called a trammel, and I can adjust that up and down.
And so the recipe is it from this book? Or?
It is. That's the American Frugal Housewife, dedicated to those who are not ashamed of economy. That's by Literary Child. So we're gonna make layers. I need a layer of fish to start with.
Okay.
And we'll just put that
Take my lovely blackfish and put it in
kettle.
there. Okay.
Okay. And then we'll cover that up with a layer of potatoes and some onions and some crackers. And the crackers are just going to thicken it. And then we'll put some salt pork in, and then we do another layer.
Okay. And is it the layering effect because you're not going to stir this dish?
We are not going to stir it. We're going to close it up tight, and we're not going to touch it for about a half an hour.
Okay.
This is flour mixed up with some water.
Okay.
And I'm going to just put that right over that. And then
Set your timer. Oh, well,
Nope.
They didn't have timers.
we can't do that, which is one of the arts of cooking over a fire like this. They had a lot more trouble than we did timing things. You get a sense. Once you've done it a while, you have.
Okay, and
you
then
can judge time. So
Just sit in the living room and knit now.
Okay, let's see if it's done.
Bring it on. Here we go. Really good.
Good.
It's a simple recipe. You know, the foods are all very healthy and easily found. This could be my next comfort food. The fire and a nice stew.